Uh, a question, I wish you knew cricket, but I don't think they play cricket in Egypt. But one of my
I know baseball from my
one of my great heroes is here, actually. A man who combined languid grace with enormous ferocity on the field, Clive Lloyd, former captain of the... And Clive wants to ask a question. I'm delighted.
Thank you, sir. If I'm looking for an agent, you've got the job. First, I'd like to say that we are now in this region where they have the ICC World Cup. And I'm an old and decrepit cricketer. But we have a game against India coming up shortly, and which is a very important game. And if the West Indies do win, I might lose a few friends. But probably that's only for a short while. But I just wondered, seeing that South Africa, sport brought stability to South Africa, I just wondered how important is sport in your country for the future?
Well, I think sport in Egypt was too important, and in fact, it was a distraction from people getting engaged in politics, and it became even, tinged with chauvinism, and jingoism, if you like. And sport is important in terms of the values that come with sport, and it is quite important, particularly football, soccer in Egypt. But that should not, detract people from other basic values that we need to work on. And you need to continue to encourage sport, but you need also to continue to encourage people to get engaged into the political process, into social justice, into human solidarity. We live in a very complex life, and you should not channel all people's emotions into the sport. I am a sport fan. I am a basketball fan, but it's, I need also to balance my interests and where to challenge my emotions. So I can assure you there's enough support for sport in Egypt, but what we need now is to get some of this energy into the building the society.
I think we take a pause here for at least one or two great internet questions, questions that have come in from the internet. One is from Nripinder Chaudhary in Guwahati. It's to the eastern part of our country in Assam. How is the international community prepared to act if nuclear weapons fall into the hands of terrorists in Pakistan?
I think the problem is not only in Pakistan, anywhere where you have nuclear weapons. So it's a question that's universal, that as long what we have seen, some of the extremist groups, sophistication they have, interest in acquiring nuclear weapons, this is now the most important security threat the world is facing. Because if an extremist group was to have nuclear weapons, they will use it. The so-called concept of deterrence does not apply to their ideology. And that's why, we are in a race against time, in fact, to protect all the nuclear material, all the radioactive sources, to make sure that it will not fall into the wrong hand. The solution to that is that we get rid of nuclear weapons, pure and simple. That's my ultimate guarantee. But as long as you have 23,000 nuclear warheads in the world, the odds that sometime one will get stolen or developed somewhere in a remote corner of the world is still a nightmare that continues to haunt all of us.
How easy is it to make a dirty bomb?
Dirty bomb is very easy, because dirty bomb, all you need is a powerful radioactive source and then a conventional explosion. In fact, a lot of the people are wondering how come until now we didn't have a dirty bomb exploded somewhere. Dirty bomb is not a nuclear weapon, but it's still, will have thousands of people dying, huge, economic dislocation, radioactivity. So it would terrorize, and that's why it's a weapon of choice for terrorists. And that's what I keep saying. It is much easier, and that's why we need also to do as much as we can, as fast as we can, to protect all the powerful radioactive sources. We have been working on that since 9/11, and we've done a lot, but still a lot to be done.
Hi, my name is Vikram. I'm from Bombay. I'm a global investor. I manage a global fund. What I want to understand is what kind of judiciary are you going to create? Because we know democracy is going to be very fragile in the next couple of years or so. And we've seen, even in Sri Lanka, they won the war, and now the president is basically doing whatever he wants to ensure him to keep power. We saw the same thing in Pakistan. How are you going to protect your democracy, and how are you going to ensure that your judiciary remains strong and independent, and what are you going to do about the constitution? I'm asking this as a potential investor in Egypt.
Well, I think that's why I put a lot of premium on the constitution. It has to be a constitution that guarantee absolute independence for the judiciary. The judiciary is key, in many aspects, particularly protecting the minorities, particularly protecting, the country against usurpation of power by the executive branch. And the good news, at least, we have a good tradition of a judiciary system in Egypt. It has been somewhat undermined by the Mubarak regime, but I think it would not be difficult to build, again, a very independent, very robust judiciary system.
You? Yes, you have a question? This is Mr. Said, a member of parliament.
Hello, sir. My name is Hamdullah Said. I am a member of parliament. I want to know from you that now, since the military in Egypt is the custodian of government, and till the elections take place, the military is the custodian. So do you feel that after 6 months, the military is going to step back to give the newly elected democratic government the opportunity to rule, or still the military is going to continue its rule? That is my question to you. And secondly, what about the constitution? The same constitution which was abrogated by Hosni Mubarak will be implemented, or you are going to frame a new constitution?
On the military, I don't think that they are interested to stay in power. I mean, they are, in fact, would like to leave power as soon as possible. And that's part of the problem we are having, that they are trying to cut short the transitional period. And my answer to them, you can go back, but transfer power to a presidential council, as happened, for example, in Slovenia and other places, while we go through the transition. Your second question, I'm sorry, it was...
I think one is enough.
No,
we've got running out of time.